But I think he seems like the only one who came up. Meyer Paltrow's wife.
Ida Paltrowitz, Harold Paltrowitz, and Helen. Helen? She wasn't in the 1920 census. So in 1920, my great-grandparents, Ida and Meyer, had 5 children. But 10 years earlier, in 1910, they had a 6th child, a daughter named Helen. So now I'm wondering what happened to Helen.
Gwyneth Paltrow is in New York City, unraveling the mystery surrounding her great-grandmother's reputation as a negligent mother. She's just discovered that Ida's mother and brother vanished from the 1900 census, and now she wants to find out their fate.
So,
Oh dear.
this is the mother.
Oh,
And
sad.
yeah, this is very sad.
Cirrhosis of the liver. She was an alcoholic.
Not necessarily. You can get cirrhosis of
From
the liver
other
from
things?
other things as well.
So I hereby certify I attended deceased from February 10, 1897. 1897? That was just a year before Ida was discharged from college. So that's
Yeah.
probably why Ida was not at school so much.
I think so. I think that she had to help her mom.
Okay.
Yeah. And here we find Samuel, Ida's brother.
Oh dear. It says 1897 as well.
That's right.
Just after the death of Rebecca, of his mom. So his mom died,
She died in April.
and he died in June. That's a blow.
So it's a real blow.
She's gone from seemingly having some kind of ambition and going to college and heading towards a career to be a teacher. And then her mother and older brother die. And I feel like it caused, sort of planted the seeds for some resentment later in her life, just based on the type of mother she was to my grandfather. And it's sad. I've lost my father, and the idea of any more grief on top of that, I think it would break me in half. So if she felt the way about her mother that I felt about my father, or she felt the way about her brother that I feel about my brother, I mean, it's amazing that she was able to ever get out of the house again. So I'm very curious to find out about the next stage of her life and why my grandfather had such an unhappy home. So I'm meeting with Michael Lorenzini at the New York Municipal Archives to look for more records that reference my great-grandmother Ida or my grandpa Buster, whose given name was Arnold. I want to find out about my grandfather's mother, kind of what her early adulthood was like and her marriage. And
when was Arnold born?
Arnold was born in 1914.
So if he was born in 1914, we should be able to find him in the 1920 census, which would have been the first census done after his birth.
Okay. It was originally Paltrowicz.
Okay. Yeah, there we go.
Okay. Paltrowitz. Meyer, Edith, Harold, Ruth, Marion, Arnold, P.
All right. All right.
And Dorothy.
If we look down at the ages, Harold's the oldest. He's 16. So obviously they've been together a while. So we could go back to the 1910 census and see if we can find the family there.
Okay.
And Arnold wouldn't have been born yet. We could look for Meyer.
His dad.
But I think he seems like the only one who came up. Meyer Paltrow's wife.
Ida Paltrowitz, Harold Paltrowitz, and Helen. Helen? She wasn't in the 1920 census. So in 1920, my great-grandparents, Ida and Meyer, had 5 children. But 10 years earlier, in 1910, they had a 6th child, a daughter named Helen. So now I'm wondering what happened to Helen. Did she die too?
That's probably what happened, and we can pull the death certificate. This is going to have more information.
Okay.
Certificate 4129.
4129. Helen Paltrowitz, 3 years old. Oh, it's terrible. What does it say? Fractured?
Shock fractured.
Shock fractured Ribs, punctuated lung.
Then run over
By a wagon?
by a wagon.
Oh my God, that's horrific.
So, because of the nature of this death, there would be a coroner's inquest as well.
Right,
Because it's an accidental death.
right,
So that may have more information.
right.
This is the notice of death.
Deceased 3 years old, was in street when wagon came along. Driver was driving slow. Driver didn't know anything about accident until attention was attracted by scream. Oh. When he stopped, witness testified deceased went between front and rear wheel. Oh, God. That's terrible. It's like your worst nightmare. And as a mother, you just
No.
do not want to read this.
Yeah, it's pretty horrific. Even worse is if we look at Arnold's older sister, Marion. She was 7 and a half in 1920.
Okay.
So this is her Social Security
Right.
Record, which is going to actually have her birth date on it.
August 12th, 1912. Okay, so Helen dies July 20th, 1912, and she's born August in 1912. So my great-grandmother was pregnant when her older daughter died.
Yeah, just gave birth 3 weeks later.
Wow. It's devastating. It makes me feel so bad for my great-grandmother. I can only imagine that, it's the loss of her daughter that really spun her out. Then the hormones of having the baby right away while still being in the depths of grief and depression over the loss of a child really made her incapable of caring for them. I wish that I could share this information with my grandfather. He didn't have compassion for her at all, and maybe this would have changed that.